sweaty, hot.
Yeah.
Oh, it works. Hey, we can share.
All right.
It's like an ice cream cone.
Yummy. Hey guys, my name is David Vincent, and I'm a voice actor based out of Los Angeles, California. And for those of you who are unaware of some of my work, I'll list off a few of the more popular credits that you may know. I did the voice for Vaughn in Gunsword, or Gunnex Sword, in Code Geass, so it's Lee Shin-Kei. I've got Blue Exorcist that's playing on Tsunami right now. I do the voice for Arthur Auguste Angel. And one of the more popular ones would be Green Jagger from the hit series Bleach. And thank you. And I'm really excited to announce that I've got a new series coming out called Kill La Kill. And yeah, so I'm super pumped to be a part of that show. I'm playing the voice of Senketsu, or as many folks will say Senketsu, in that series. And then lots and lots of video games. Any Tekken or Street Fighter fans out here? So I do martial law and T-Hawk, and then Blaze Blue. I do Jin Kisaragi and Hakumen, and then the Tales of Graces Tales series. The most recent will be Tales of Graces, and I do the voice of Richard. All right, over to you. There you go.
Hello, I'm Brina Valencia. No, she's much prettier than me. Well, not much pretty, but pretty. I'm Jen Michael Tatum. Hello, and I'm everyone calm down. I've been in a lot of stuff. Most notably, most of you are probably here because of Sebastian of Black Bar. What did I just say? Italia, France. Lately, I'm on 2 shows that are currently airing on Cartoon Network. I am Dr. Gel in Space Dandy, which is amazing. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, become a better person. And Attack on Titan. I get to play Irvin Smith, whose main thing is like, we're all gonna die, who's with me? And it's awesome. And many other things besides. So this is a Q&A, right? Just a kind of informal Q&A. More what for Tomoe? Oh yeah, and Tomoe from Kami-sama Kiss, the fox god. And Steinsgate, yes. Oh my god. I forget what I meant all the time. I don't know what I meant. It's like 200 something shows now. They get all confused in my mind. It's like 230 last check. That's a lot of shows. But I'm sure we'll talk about most of them while we're here. So, we have about, I think, 45 minutes with you lovely people. So, a couple things I figure that help keep these panels moving. It's a Q&A, which means you provide Q, we provide A. If you don't know what that stands for, get your mind out of the gutter. It means question and answer. So now is not the time for like autographs and like, please don't have us call your friend on your phone and propose with them in your favorite voice. It's not like it's legally binding anyway. But like things, so just keep down to questions and things like that, so we can get as many of you answered as possible. And if we don't pick on you, if you have your hand up the whole time, please don't take it personally. We try to be random when we pick questions. So please, we're in a room together. It's nice and short, nice and small rather, but you do have to project. And yeah, let's keep it nice and family friendly. Yes. So and also we love questions for both of us that we can both answer. So it's not like, Tatum, do this, and then while he stands over there, or like, Benson, do this, while I stand over here going. So, so we like questions that are general questions that we can both answer and riff on. So, we all good? We all clear on the rules? You will be graded. There's a quiz at the end. That's a lie. What?
D, none of the above.
D, none of the above. E, all of the above. F. Alright, so who's got a question? Who's got a question? You, your hand ready to go?
This is what for both of you.
Awesome, you listen.
So, my question for both of you is, how did you get your start in voice acting, and why voice acting?
There's a subtle criticism in that.
So like, why is it, like, how did it come to you in voice acting? Like, what is your story?
Not it.
I got my start in New York City. I number one, I had been doing voices since I was a little kid, you know, terrorizing my poor mother. You know, I was doing a stand-up sketch comedy in New York City, and I was doing it at a little theater in Times Square called Don't Tell Mama. And I was doing a sketch where I was making fun of TV commercials. So I was doing 1,000 different voices. And I had a gal come up to me after one of my shows and say, hey, it's pretty good. And I go, thanks. She goes, do you have an agent? And I go, no. She goes, here's my card, you need to call me. And so the first thing that I auditioned for was a Rolling Rock radio commercial for beer, yeah. And so I booked it. It was my very first audition, and I booked it. And to me, it just, I know. To me, it just came naturally, and so it's something that I pursued. Do you guys know who? I can just answer your question a little more specifically as far as how I got into anime. Do you guys know who Steve Bloom is?
Yes.
So Steve's a friend of mine, and Steve and I, we had the same agent, and we were auditioning for a radio commercial. And Steve looks over at me and he goes, hey Dave. Yeah, Steve, what's up, man? You ever do any anime? No, man, never done any anime. You should do anime. And so he actually gave me a business card of one of our colleagues, and that's how I got my introduction into the world of anime. So for me, it's just been something that I've enjoyed doing. I've loved it, so I continue pursuing it.
And we're all thankful you do because you have a gorgeous voice. Listen to him. I could listen to him read a phone book. That sounds creepy. Like, just sit next to me and read a phone book. You're like, Taylor, 515. So my story's a little weird, and so when people, like, I get asked a lot, like, how should I become a voice actor? And I'm like, don't do what I did. Because my path is one of those weird, I shouldn't be doing it. I really shouldn't be doing it. By all accounts, I do not deserve the wonderful good luck I've had in this industry. I was an actor when I was a little kid, because I kind of grew up on the stage, and I'll get back into why later. But when the time came in high school, where I had to sort of pick what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, like anyone is prepared at 17 to figure out what they want to do for the rest of their lives. It's a terrible, terrible thing they make you do. I decided not to pursue acting because I figured, rightly, that it takes a very courageous and crazy person to try to make a living doing acting. And while I got the crazy down pat, the courage, not so much. So I actually had a whole other career path. I just sort of put acting behind me and thought of it one of those things that I loved and enjoyed. It's something that, you know, was behind me. One of those childhood dreams you just kind of give up on. I know, sad story, right? But, so fast forward 10 years later, and I happened at the time to be really good friends with a gentleman named Chris Bevins, who was a director, writer, actor at Funimation. And we were both, like, you know, good friends, fellow comic book nerds together. You know, he spent many a night crashed out on my couch with my cat on his face after arguments of who would win in a fight, you know, Iron Man or Batman. Iron Man. I love Batman, but I mean, there's just no contest. So we were friends together, and I knew what he did because I was a big anime fan too, and I thought it was really cool. But I didn't think of myself as an actor anymore. It had been years, so I wasn't like, you know, I can do voices. I was never like that with him. I just kind of was in awe of what he did and thought it was cool, but never really talked about it much because I didn't want to bug him. And one day out of the blue, about 2 or 3 years into the friendship, he calls me up and says, hey, I'm working on this show called Samurai 7. Awesome that you know that. And he was like, I want you to, you know, I have this role in mind, and I'd love for you to come in and audition for me, because I think, you know, I know you haven't acted in a while, but I like your voice, I think I could work with it, and what do you think? And I'm like, oh my God, no. Because the whole idea of going into an audition just terrified me. I was like, I'm not an actor anymore. No, please don't make me do this. So that was that, and then the next day he called me again and was like, hey, so I'm working on this show called Samurai 7, blah, 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 blah. I proceeded to act like we hadn't had the conversation we had the day before, and again I said thank you, but no, I'm not an actor, it's not. 2 days later, so I'm working on this show called Samurai 7, and he gets progressively scarier. So whereas the first conversation was like, hey, I'm not working on the show, we'd love for you to come in and audition because I just think I could work with voice, became, if you don't come in, I'm going to break your kneecaps. So he was like, look, he made some egregious lie up about, look, you're not going to get the part, I just have to get a body in the booth to audition because my producers breathe it down my neck for using the same people all the time, so come in, it's better if you suck. you know, you come in, we'll laugh, we'll never speak of it again, just come in and help me out. So under protest, I come in to audition for the part of Rikichi. And I had never been in a vocal booth before. All my experience was stage. I had never looked at a dub script before, which, as David can tell you, is a very different animal than other types of scripts. It's all sorts of technical jargon you have to get your head around very, very quickly. And it was 4 hours, a 4-hour-long audition. Now, how many people here have experience on stage and stuff where if you go into monologue, you have about maybe 2 minutes and then out comes the shepherd book and you never hear from these people again? Well, so I'm in the booth for 4 hours, sweating it out. It's voice acting boot camp with Bevins, the scariest SOB in the business, like shouting at me and cursing my name and telling me, why are you ruining me this, you know, why are you doing this to me? I mean, he was really actually very fun to work with, but it was difficult. And at the end of the 4 hours, I stepped out of the booth, confident that I had screwed it up and he would leave me alone. And he's like, you know, here, sign these pieces of paper, which I thought were NDAs. I didn't read them very closely, my first mistake. And so as I'm signing my name on them, I just sort of turned to him and glibly said, how do you people get anything done here at Funimation? It takes you 4 hours to audition every single part? And he's like, it didn't. It took 10 minutes. We've actually just recorded the first 6 episodes, and you're now an actor. You just signed the contract. Screw you. Be back next Sunday. And that was how I became an actor. Yeah, I still been doing it for 10 years now, and every morning I wake up and I'm like, I'm an actor, right? Oh yeah, I'm an actor. It's weird. It's weird. I love it. I love every minute of it, but it's weird accepting myself as an actor. So that's, yeah, that was a very long story. I talk a long time. You want to pick a question? Sure. Right here. Yes.
I'd like to ask both of you a separate question.
Okay. Oh, there was a separate question.
Yes.
We get to pick which one we answer.
Okay, so Dave, I love you as Grunja, you're like fantastic, but how did you run into Senketsu?
How did I run into it?
Like, how did you get the role?
Oh, just as a technical, they pronounce it in the series. They a Japanese producer, native speaker, and so it's they pronounce it Senketsu. But I got Senketsu just by auditioning, just like standard auditions that you get. I honestly wasn't familiar with the series, so I had no idea. All I knew is that I was auditioning to what looked like me a jacket, a talking jacket, to sailor uniform. And so, I mean, I just auditioned for it, and then I got called back for it. And in the callback, they had me do something entirely different than what I did in my audition. And so I kind of walked out of the callback going, yeah, I kind of blew that one. What else, you know? And then about, I don't know, a week later, I get a congratulatory email from Mommy, the casting director at Bang Zoom Entertainment. And so then I actually Googled it, went out to the Kill la Kill website, and I was like, oh my god, this is a pretty cool show. So yeah, I was really excited about it.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
And alright, so I'm sure you heard about the Black Butler Season 3 announcement.
Oh yeah.
Are you done?
I can't talk about it yet. I'm an actor, so I'm the last person to know what goes on in the acquisitions department. I mean, keep your fingers crossed, please. All of us are chomping at the bit to get to reprise our roles. I know, because we all love working on the show. When I heard that it was actually season 3 and it wasn't a rumor, I'm like, but as of yet, I'm not in a position to say anything about it, so sorry.
If they don't, they're crazy.
They don't, they're crazy. There's a lot of crazy people in this business, so never ever underestimate the power of crazy. You with the cool thing. Yes, I talked to you in my autograph line earlier.
Both of you, if there is one, what was one of the funniest moments you had while recording?
Funniest moments we've ever had recording. I've had a lot. The one that comes to mind that just pops in there right now, because it's hard to pick like the most. When we were recording Natalia, I think it was season 2. I can't remember now, but there's a scene where Big Brother Friends is explaining the birds and the bees to little brother Italy. And it's this very brief like scene. He's got like a little book, and he's like, "When two people love each other," and it's just beep, beep, like 15 seconds of just beep, 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 beep. It's hysterical. Well, we had to have stuff to beep out, so Todd hadn't recorded yet, Italy. And I knew that they wouldn't have the beats in until post-production, meaning he would hear whatever I said in his pre-roll when he came in to record the same scene. So, suffice to say, I said stuff. A lot of stuff. Directed at Todd. And about 2 weeks later, he was back in Funimation recording that scene, and I knew it because he came out of the booth as I was walking past, and he was like, "Hey, Tatum." "Oh, you're recording the scene? Yes!" Oh.
I know, just picturing Todd's face. That's hilarious. I was one story that comes to mind. I was recording a series called Gun Sword or Gun X Sword, and in this series, I played the lead character, and the character throughout the series is Vaughn the Dawn. So throughout the whole series, I'm Vaughn the Dawn. And about 7, 8 episodes in. There is a new character that's introduced, a 14-year-old boy voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, who's a remarkably talented actor. And so, without saying anything, I just started practicing Yuri's voice in my truck whenever I'd leave the studio, because it was very, very high-pitched, out there voice. And so one day while we're in the booth, and without thinking about it, I just decided to bust out my best Yuri Lowenthal's Vaughn, what's happening? And the director is Liam O'Brien, and he's out there with the engineer going, where is Yuri's voice coming from? So I pulled one over on O'Brien. It's good times. Professor Yuri Lowenthal. Next question. That girl in the back with the hat, yes.
This one's for Jay.
It's Jay, it's so weird to be called Jay. You can call me Zanzibar. Go ahead, sweetie, I'm sorry.
It's France, Kyoya, and Sebastian.
Why are you doing this to me? Why? I thought we were friends. In France, Sebastian, Kyoya, and...
No, that's it.
Oh, that's it. Oh, that's it. That's all. What are they up to?
If they all had to give each other a birthday present, what would it be?
Well, what do you give a demon, right? I mean, demons are notoriously hard to shop for. I dated one for a long time. Holidays were a nightmare. Kyoya is like the richest kid in the world, so what do you give him? And the other one was, who was the other one? France? Oh, France? Wine, always goes well with France. Like some crazy vintage. I don't know. What do you give France for Christmas, or for presents? Canada. You've got a question in the front row, I assume, yeah?
Yes.
I thought you're like, I guess, whatever. You're gonna pick on me, why not? What?
Do you want to take my question?
Who's got another question? Yeah?
Who are your favorite, like the people you voice? Like, who is your favorite character to voice?
I would have to say Grimjow was one of my absolute favorites to voice, just because the guy is such a jerk, you know. But he's the bad guy that you love. You love him, you know. So he was one of my favorites, and then another one would be Jin Kisaragi from the Blaze Blue series. I love getting crazy and his crazy laugh. So it's just a blast. Never rawness in the row.
It's hard to pick a favorite, it really is, because all the characters, I'm a little psychotic, so all the characters I play, right down to like Soldier A, who has 2 lines that gets shot and dies. Someone's a stalker. I mean, all of them kind of become a permanent feature of my already very troubled psyche, so picking a favorite is hard because they're all like, to me, they're up there. They're like people. They're real dudes. Or frogs. And they're like, you know, and so if I were to be like, oh my god, that's my favorite. I go to my hotel room in a few minutes and I would have like 200 other voices going, you're a bastard. But 2 of my favorite experiences of recording, and they're not my favorite characters, they aren't among my favorite characters, but Sebastian, of course, is one because that voice gets me into all sorts of trouble. Case in point, a few years ago, I was in a con in Tulsa, and I had stayed a couple days after the con in the same hotel to visit friends that were local, and there's nothing more depressing than a con or a hotel after the con when it goes back to normal, and suddenly all the colorful cosplayers and the noise and the music and the dealer's room stuff is all gone. You know, it's like the circus has left town, and now there's just like these salarymen walking the halls and crying in their briefcases. And it's so I was still on. I wasn't ready to like not be on and not be in con mode. So I decided to have fun with the concierge desk, who there was now new staff. They had no idea who I was, and I came up